Hey guys, Coach Brick's back. Hey, I wanted to speak on this because I talked about, what's human, how far we've gone away from it. And one of the things I started knowing is the breakdown of the human body, okay, at a faster rate than I've seen in the past. Okay, so I get a lot of people that come to me with, you know, um, pain, different areas, back pain, knee pain, hip pain, stuff like that. They've gone to their doctors, they've gone to therapists, they've gone to places like that, and they're just not getting better, and they don't know why. Now, a lot of people try to work through it, and what they actually do is make it worse. But one of the things I started to notice, I should say, and it plays into this whole Earth Strong thing that I started about combining the three things that are most important. That's the spiritual, the mental, and the physical aspect of each human being. And as I look at people today, I'm starting to notice a pattern that's not good. People don't, first of all, don't understand who they are. They don't understand their bodies. They don't understand how to take care. They notice once there's pain because that's an indicator that says, hey, I have something wrong with me. Typically, pain does not come on right away. That's not the first sign that there's something wrong. Pain tends to be one of the last indicators, if not the last. Now, if I went up and hit you in the head with a bat or your knee, yes, pain's going to probably happen pretty quickly. Okay. But this is over where we call wear and tear. Like people have no idea why they're hurt, why their body's not responding to certain things. And a lot of them will go get MRIs and X-rays and everything will show structure looks fine. And then they'll go to PT and they'll do their so-called exercises, but they're just not getting better. And so one thing that I started to notice is that we're missing the mind connection, the spirit connection to the body. So everybody talks about this muscle memory type thing. Well, first of all, muscles don't have memory. So I will never say you have to work it to have muscle memory. I think that's stupid. Okay. I think there's such a thing as movement memory. The body remembers movements, okay, and knows when to fire certain muscles at certain times. Here's the issue, though, is that we're becoming so devolved of where we should be that certain muscles and certain movement patterns are being broken. And so they're being picked up by typically, if you want to break it down in isolation terms, muscles that do most of the work. So let's go down and look at the lower half, okay? So I had a gentleman come in a couple of days ago, and he complained of his knee, and he thought he blew out his ACL. Now he went to those urgent care places or whatever they're called. They looked at, they did the lock test, all that kind of stuff to see if the ACL was blown. They couldn't tell, but they said it feels fine, but he was still having pain. So I said, okay, let me take a look at a couple of different things. So I checked a couple of different areas. I said, huh. He was extremely tight in two areas that I've started to notice become really tight on human beings. And they're in the quad. Now, they're not just, the quad is made up of four muscles, okay? But I started to notice this and I'm like, that's interesting. Okay, let's try this exercise I'm going to give you. So I gave him an exercise. I said, where do you feel this? And he told me in his quads. I said, interesting. You're not supposed to feel it there at all. So there's nothing to really do with that at all. So I said, all right, let's take away anything out there because he was doing it in a squat position. I said, sit down here on the box and then do it. So he sat on the box, still the same thing, nothing. Couldn't feel it. What that's telling me is he cannot understand the mind and body connection of firing muscles correctly because that muscle is shut down and other muscles have now done the job to pick up the slack. Well, now guess what? Those muscles that have picked up the slack of doing the job of that one muscle are not firing anymore. Now, people will shun this off right away. People shun this off. It doesn't happen like this. If you don't believe in the spiritual context of the spirit, mind, and body working as one, then you're missing what a human being is. You 100% are. See, we just go to the gym to do an exercise. Well, this is supposed to work my biceps. This is supposed to be the power clean that this does. Explosion. It works my shoulders. It works my legs. It works squat, known as the greatest exercise of all time. It works this. If we're not understanding how those muscles actually fire, then we are truly missing out on how the body works. And that's what a lot of people are doing. So going back to this gentleman, this is just one example in the last probably like 2, 3 weeks of probably 15 people that I've seen. It took him honestly 30 minutes of my educating him on how to actually get this thing to work. the fire. Once he got it, totally different. Totally different. He started to understand. Now, is that the process done right then? No. It's got to be continually be educated because his body's going to go back to what it remembers, and that's not firing that muscle correctly. So you shouldn't have to think about what muscle to fire correctly all the time if it's working properly. Such as when I walk, I should be able to just everything should fire in unison. It's sending the signal down. But if the signal's not going to this because something else is picking it up, you have issues. How do I know? Because I was in the same boat 6 years ago when certain things were not working right. Nobody could figure out what's wrong. All these guys that had all this PhDs and stuff like that couldn't figure out what's wrong. I figured it out. I figured it out by working it and starting to understand my body. And that's how Earth Strong came about. Earth Strong came about for me trying to understand what I was missing. And that's one of the things that I was missing, huge missing. The spiritual mind and the body connection. We talk about it, but very few people actually put into practice. So now these muscles are overworked and then they're failing. And then eventually they lead to injury. They start leading to pain and they lead to injury. Or shut down because people just continue working with it. Well, I don't understand why that muscle has anything to do. That muscle has a major component. You wouldn't have it if it wasn't an important part of the human body. God wouldn't just give it to you. I'm just going to give it to you. You got to think differently. If it's not firing, if something else is picking up the slack, boom. Such as hamstrings. Let's look at most people's hamstrings. They're weak as hell. Most people are quad dominant. Why isn't the hamstring working correctly? Did we ever ask that question? We could probably solve a lot of the knee issues if we start to understand hamstring strength. But not only hamstring strength, it goes deeper. What about glute strength? Do we understand that all these things have to work together? It's all connected by fascia. Fascia is the key part. It keeps our body in balance. It keeps us moving and firing correctly. When fascia is broken off, when it's not firing correctly, then these muscles, certain muscles, aren't getting the work they need, aren't being fired correctly. And then we degrade and we fall apart. We devolve because we're so far away. And I think a lot of it has to do with our sedentary lifestyle. The sitting has destroyed our bodies greatly. And I just think it's our inactivity. Even standing's not great for the human body. Standing still is not great for you. You know, moving, standing and moving and stuff constantly, that's fine. But standing still, not great. So these are things that we have to start to understand. We have to start to look at. We have to start to do. And if you're having issues, reach out. Let me help you. Let me figure out what we can do to help you out with this stuff. This is the stuff I love. And trust me, these people who start to get it, they get this enjoyment on their face. It benefits me because I hate to see people going to a doctor, spend all this money, take a pill for the rest of their life to get through the pain, or pop Advil or Tylenol or anything, any of those other drugs. You know, then says to get through life. I don't want to see people on that. I want to see people healthy and vibrant. That's what I want. I want to see them vibrant, doing God's work. But if you're in constant pain, it's hard to do it. Your body's broken. I don't want to see it. I want to see you out there doing the things you can do. All right. So reach out. Let me see how I can help you. All right. I think there's great things we do. We're starting up some incredible programs. Me and my one guy that we're doing, he's a doctor. He thinks similar to myself. We're going to be starting stuff up here very soon. I think it's going to be very beneficial for people to get involved in. All right. Let me know how I can help. God bless you and take care.